today's ball game. And Jeff, back to you.
Dave Brown back deep to receive for the Mars Planets. Sean Reese set to kick it off for the Wolverines. A short kick taken by one of the Mars Planets upmen on his own 20. To the 25, finds a seam, gets it across to the 30, out to about to their own 31-yard line. And Joe Webb carrying the ball for the Mars Planets. Coming up with the stop for the Wolverines was Nick Perry.
Both Perry and Spielvogel were up there quickly. The ball was up high, and that's why the Wolverines were able to get down there and get their coverage under that ball very quickly. Watch for the wing T offense now by the Mars Planets.
Just took the words right out of my mouth, Phil. That's exactly what they'll run. Pitch back, second man boot, ball is bubble popped into the arms of Perry. He's going to go all the way for a Wolverine touchdown, and a flag is on the ground. It's probably motion against the Mars Planets, and if it is, that play will stand, and the Wolverines will be on top immediately, 6-0. Let's see what the flag is. Motion against the Mars Planets.
I don't know why, Jeff. They're talking to the captains of the Ellwood Wolverine team. I don't think you're going to find much chance of them declining that penalty. Dave Brown, number 87 in the backfield, taking that handoff, and he was hit very hard, and I sure wish I could have gotten the number. It was on the far side of the field behind a player, and I was unable to see the initial hit, but the ball popped straight up in the air, right into the hands of Nick Perry, and he was gone to the races right down the right sideline. And the Ellwood City Wolverines are the first football team to indoctrinate the end zone here at the Mars Middle School football field.
You talk about an ideal play to get you on the scoreboard. The ball couldn't have bounced in a better position. In the air it hung, and Sean Reese set the kick to conversion. Kick is up, and it's good, and Wolverines go on top. Once again, if you've just joined us, let's run down quickly that play. Again, the Wolverines just scored. Time on the clock, only 11:34. Remaining in the first quarter of play. Should I say 11:34 remaining in the first period of play. Only a few seconds running off that clock. Dave Brown carrying the ball, third man out in the backfield as they line up in the wing T. He was popped, and we couldn't get the number on who did it for the Wolverines. That ball popped in the air. Nick Perry grabbed it out of the air on about the 30-yard line of Mars and took it in for the touchdown. There was a motion penalty. Of course, the Wolverines declined. They lead it 7-0, and they set to kick it off again.
You know, Jeff, had that ball been rolling on the ground, of course, probably had a chance for the touchdown. They would have had to down the ball, but luckily it bounced right up in the air. Nick Perry was luckily wide awake when the ball was flying in the air and picked it off and ran all the way.
Again, Sean Reese set to kick it off from right to left. Another short kick, this time to the near sideline. Taken by another man on the 20. He's up to the 25, cuts back inside, looks for a seam, finds nowhere. And again, the Mars Planets take over. First down and 10 on their own 30-yard line as Danny Hoffman carried the ball for the Planets. And again, Nick Perry coming up with a stop for the Wolverines.
Exactly the same field position. Everything looks exactly the same as it was a matter of 30 seconds ago. Only the score on the scoreboard is a little bit different with the Wolverines ahead now being spotted as quick 7-0 lead.
First down and 10. Split backs, man in the slot to the near side, goes in motion. Straight ahead handoff to the first man through. He'll find little, if any, yardage on the game. On the carry, rather. That'll bring up a second down, and they'll give them one on the play, so actually two they'll mark it. Okay, we see the spot by the official. Second down, we'll call it 8 yards to go. Ball resting on the 33-yard line of the Mars Planets. Frank carrying the ball, and Cortez with the stop.
Cortez was able to play off his block and be able to come up and make the tackle. One of the problems we might have from the vantage point here in our press box is that we're not as high as we are in some fields, and we can't see across to the far side of the field as well, so we might be a little bit slower picking up numbers, but we'll do our job up here as best we can.
Quarterback, Reese Meyer, sets him down, handoff. He goes again to the second man through, and again, no penetration for the offensive front of Mars. Wolverine penetration, though, defensively. Brings up a third down, no gain in the play, 8 to go for the first.
It's kind of an unusual setup that they're running with full house backfield. It almost looks like a straight T formation because they're not sending their wing back outside, and they're lining up in a full house backfield. It's a new look for the Wolverines. They have not seen that full house this year.
Wide out to the near side is Hanlon. Motion man to the near side also. tries to pass and won't be able to do so as the Wolverines' Nick Perry comes in along with Timmerman, and they will sack Riesmeyer, the quarterback, for a loss of about 6 yards in the play. That'll bring up a 4th and long situation with the ball on the 26-yard line of Mars.
Well, so far, the story has been the same as in every previous ball game for the Ellwood City Wolverines. The offensive team is actually punting with a minus yardage situation. It's been that way in the 2 previous ball games for Ellwood City.
Ketterer, Portugal back to receive the punt on their own 40. Riesmeyer set the kick. Bad kick, shanks it off the side of his foot, takes a Mars roll though, and Ketterer has to back out of the way. And the Wolverines take over, 1st down and 10 with the ball on their own 34-yard line.
Chris Ketterer at that time, who was deep, came up to field the ball to take a look at it as it hit first on the 50-yard line. It was a shanked kick, but it did roll toward the Ellwood City players, and Chris Ketterer came up. He had thoughts of picking it up, but he wouldn't have had any blocking and probably could have risked a possible fumble. He did the right thing by just getting out of the way of the ball.
Riesmeyer's punt with the roll carrying 39 yards. Had he not got the roll, it wouldn't even have gone that far. Saw the quarterback hand off to Billy Chapman. He's up across the 35, fights his way out across the 40, up to about the 41-yard line, where he has a pickup of 7, 2nd and 3 to go for the Wolverine 1st down. Coming up with a stop, Dave Reynolds, the linebacker for the Mars Planets.
That time it was Newpower, Peretta, and Naneski on that inside trap again, and it was Bill Chapman who was able to hit that hole and into the secondary.
And the Wolverines, as we mentioned last week, will trap you to death. Here comes Jones, looking for room, has some. To the 45 up the midfield, Jones on a foot race, still on his feet, he's down to 30, the 25, the 20, and finally dragged down from behind by the Mars Planets on the 15-yard line of the Planets. And Chris Hazley coming up, the defensive back, to make that stop for, if he doesn't make the stop, Jones is in the end zone for another Wolverine touchdown.
That time, Scott Timmerman, who came out and pulled and was the leading blocker, had Kevin Jones realized he could have gone to the outside instead of to the inside, he would have had nothing but pay dirt, but as it was, a Mars Planet caught him from behind.
1st down and 10 for the Wolverines. Straight ahead carry, Billy Chapman, and he gets it down inside the 15 to about the 10-yard line. Hazley with the tackle.
I was talking, Jeff, to 3 or 4 different people here from Mars of getting a starting lineup, and they omitted in the program Bill Chapman's number, and at least 3 or 4 people asked me if Chapman was out for this ball game, and I said, no way, we're perfectly healthy, and you can tell Bill Chapman is perfectly healthy.
And that, speaking of healthy, that run by Jones carrying 45 yards for that Wolverine 1st down. Ball resting on the 10-yard line. Again, straight ahead, the Wolverines try the trap play to Chapman. Pick up a couple, but he stopped short of a Wolverine 1st down. Has to go to about the 8-yard line for a Wolverine 1st. That'll bring up a 3rd down, and short situation of about 1. Hazley again with the stop.
Once again, that counter play that the Wolverines have run now in their 3rd successive ball game, and they have not run it successfully yet. The counter, first a fake to Bill Chapman, and then a quick handoff inside to Kevin Jones, was not open again this week.
The Trilly out wide to the near side, a solo quick count. Straight ahead handoff to Chapman. He bowls his way, good for a Wolverine 1st down. Gets it down inside the 5 to the Mars 4-yard line, where the Wolverines have a 1st and goal situation. On the stop for the Mars Planets will be Joe Webb.
All right, Jeff. Now, the blocking schemes, as we said, against the wing T offense change when you come up against the goal line defense. And I might look for a possible quick trap up the middle or the option outside with Brian Assalto.
1st and goal from the Mars 4-yard line. Wolverines with the ball. Straight ahead, Chapman finding hard running room. And Phil, as you've mentioned, a good point, Wolverines having trouble getting that trap play to work for them this afternoon.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised that Coach Rankin was using that quick hitter up the middle with Bill Chapman just as a setup play, because they're going to influence everybody and make them think that they're coming inside, and I wouldn't be surprised to see something quick outside with an option of Brian Assalto.
No gain, 2nd and goal from the 4. Bill James, by the way, with the stop on Chapman on that last play. Motion to the near side. Roth carrying the ball on the counter, fighting to get in the end zone, gets down close to about the 1-yard line, and that'll bring up a 3rd down situation. So Roth fighting for a lot of that on his own, and finding the running tough down. So Mars with their backs to the wall, playing it tough. On the stop, Hoffman.
Right now, Jeff, they're marked as at the 1-yard line. But they tried the inside play and then the outside to the big running back, Joe Roth. They brought him in for that particular kind of run and look for the same sort of thing again.
Perry and Chapman in the backfield. Assalto with the quarterback sneak is able to get in. Wolverines are on top by the score of 13-0. And from our vantage point in the press box, that scoreboard is way out of reach. We have to stick our heads around the corner. Look, 5:53 remaining in the first quarter of play. Touchdown good on the quarterback sneak by Assalto. Wolverines on top 13-0, and Sean Reese is set to try the extra point conversion. High snap, kick is up, almost blocked, and it is good. So what's the score? 13-0. Ellwood City over top of the Mars Planets. We'll take this break. I think we are still in the first quarter of play, Phil. 5:53 remaining.
The key play, of course, in that drive was the long run by Kevin Jones. After you get a team influencing inside and they start to think about Bill Chapman going up the middle, watch for Kevin Jones breaking around the outside, and the Wolverines were successful with that once again this week.
Brown along with Hoffman and Webb back to receive the kick. Another short kick taken by Webb. He loses it over his head. Brown misses it. Webb has to go all the way back to his 5 and pick it up, looking for running room. Still on his feet. He finds no room. He's taken down at the 10-yard line. And a lot of Wolverines in on the coverage. One of the first men to see to get up off the pile. Nick Perry on the kickoff coverage for the Wolverines. And a 5-yard return. Webb might have been able to get a little bit more, but it took a bad hop on him, Phil. Went over his head, also Brown's head. And Webb had to go back to his 5-yard line to get that.
One of the most important things, Jeff, when you get into a ball game against an underdog is that you want to get ahead early so that they don't get their own momentum started, and the Wolverines have been successful in that at least.
Hamlin out wide to the far side. Backs all lined up across. No gain on the play. Carrying the ball is the fullback. Frank carrying that ball, and he picks up no gain in the play, getting back to the line of scrimmage on the 10. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 for the Wolverines, or rather for the Mars Planets.
Listening to the Riverside ball game against Mars last week, I know that Reesmeyer is a good throwing quarterback, but right now he has not been given the opportunity to set up, and he's not going to get a chance in the field position that they have right now from his own 10-yard line.
Again, Reesmeyer sets him down. Wide out Webb to the far side. Again, he tries the handoff inside to Chris Hazley this time, and again, no gain in the play. Wolverines' Kevin Jones coming up to make that stop quickly. Now, matter of fact, will be a loss of 1. 3rd down and 11 now, with the ball resting on the Mars 9-yard line.
For the Ellwood Wolverines, one of the important things in this particular stand now, holding 2 particular downs here, two times in a row to no gain. What they don't want is a key penalty, something that could hurt a drive and stop their momentum.
Hamlin wide out to the far side. Reesmeyer, long count. Tries to counter inside and no going anywhere as Dave Brown tries to carry it up for the Mars Planets. Wolverines playing it tough defensively inside, not even giving the backs actually Phil to get a chance to hit the line of scrimmage.
Right now, the interior defensive line of Gibbons, Peretta, and the linebackers of Roth and Ritzert, they're just clogging up that whole inside area, and there's actually no place for the running backs to go. 4th down, and once again, they've held their opponent to minus yardage rushing.
Ketterer back to kick. Wolverines go to try to block it, almost get it. And Ketterer will let that punt roll to a stop and be down on their own 37-yard line.
Okay, excuse me. Reesmeyer that time in punting, he had it in his mind he was going to go down and draw it's not a charge, but a penalty for roughing the kicker, and he had it so implanted in his mind when he saw the guys coming. I don't think he concentrated enough on kicking the ball out of there. He fell down, and the referee was right on the spot and said there was no penalty involved.
Reesmeyer, 28-yard punt on the play. Wolverines with excellent field position. Assalto, again, that play to Jones, but there was a big gainer earlier. This time he picks up close to 4 on the plays. He gets it to the 35-yard line of the Mars Planets. Coming up with the stop is Hazley.
That was the same play, as you already noted, where they have a pulling tackle in front of Kevin Jones, and what he has to do is turn inside as soon as he gets the handoff and go off the left tackle or the right tackle and turn it upfield and then break to the outside.
Split backs, quick count, straight ahead handoff. Chapman tries to bounce his way off one tackler, but is not able to get out of his reach, and that'll bring up 3rd down. No gain on that play for Chapman as he's brought down inside by Simeon. And a third down, we'll call it about a short 6 for the first. Wolverines with the ball on the 34-yard line of the Mars Planet.
And now, Jeff, I'd look for a pass because they were getting single coverage on Petrelli and John DeLuca possibly out of the backfield.
DeLuca in motion. Here's the option. Assalto pitches to DeLuca. DeLuca tries to get the 6. He won't do it. Mars Planet's hold, and Riesmeyer comes up from the defensive cornerback spot to make the play, holding DeLuca about 2 yards shy of that Wolverine first down. That'll bring up a 4th down situation, and the ball resting now on. Hard to read these yard markers. Close to the 30-yard line of the Mars Planet, just shy of the 30.
Well, they're in 4th down area right now. Coach Rankin had no idea of trying a field goal, and he was going to go for 4th down no matter how close they were. And so they're going to come up for the 4th down play now.
4th and about 2. Wolverines on top, 14-0. Trying to get inside Assalto. He won't do it. And again, Riesmeyer coming up from that cornerback spot to make the tackle, this time on Assalto. And the Wolverines have to turn the ball over, and Mars Planet's hold.
It was an unexpected play to run that option, especially to the short side of the field. They had a lot more room coming back toward the broadcast booth here instead of away from us toward the short side of the field. But he decided to keep the ball, did Brian Assalto. And in this case, Riesmeyer was equal to the task. He was up there to knock him out of bounds.
2 minutes remaining in the first quarter of play. Wolverines lead at 12-0. Mars Planets with the ball, first down and 10 on their own 30-yard line. Webb out wide to the near side. Brown comes in motion also to the near side. Handoff to the second back through. He'll get up to the original line of scrimmage, and that is about it. Chris Hazley carrying the ball, and it tried to go off left tackle. He'll go nowhere. Coming up for the stop on the Wolverines will be Kevin Jones, also Jerry Ritzert, the linebacker, in on the stop. Now, speaking about Ritzert, he had an excellent ball game last week against Slippery Rock.
Yes, it started with that intercepted pass that he was able to take in for a touchdown. The linebackers for Ellwood City are very hard-hitting linebackers with Roth and Ritzert.
Again, Brown in motion to the near side. Hamlin out wide. Here comes the sprint-out action pass. It's blocked by Timmerman and almost intercepted by Timmerman as he got a hand on that. Thought he was able to knock it down, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and a short 9 situation.
Right now, Riesmeyer, he stands about 6'1". He rolled out to the right. They do not have a drop back pass in their repertoire, and he rolled out to the right into the hands of Scott Timmerman, who stands 6'4" and is able to get up there and knock that ball down very, very often. He was able to get up in this case and knock it down right in the face of Riesmeyer.
Webb will come out wide to the near side again. Brown in motion. We'll have motion penalty in the backfield against Ron Frank. He set and then he lifted up a little too soon, and they will call that. The referee, Fats Cabela's with the call. That'll back him up 5. Bring up the 3rd and about 14 situation for the Mars Planets. They will be back deeper now in their territory and about their 25-yard line.
Now, as I said earlier in the ballgame, scoring early and jumping out to a 14-0 lead, as the Wolverines have done, is really important in setting the pace for the ballgame. And you don't want any kind of unnecessary penalties to get momentum changed back over to the Mars Ball Club. And that's what they're trying to do right now, is to keep them from building up any momentum.
Again, Brown in motion. Long count by Riesmeyer. Here comes the draw, and that won't give them much of anything. They get back to the original line of scrimmage, so a gain of 4 in the play as Hazley carried it. Richard with the tackle. He stayed home and was able to make the stop. Didn't fool any of the Wolverines, and they'll give him 5 yards gain on the play instead of 4 as it puts the ball on the Mars Planet 30-yard line.
Well, for the third consecutive ball possession of the Mars Planets, the 4th down marker has landed right beside the 1st and 10 marker. In other words, they need 10 more yards to go. So the Wolverines' defense has been strong.
Another bad kick as it'll go out of bounds near midfield. Wolverines take over first down and 10. They're on top 14-0 with 42 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. And if you're just joining us, Wolverines got on top early with 11:35 remaining. 34 remaining in the first quarter. Perry picked up a fumble out of midair, took it in for the score. Extra point was good by Reese. Wolverines were on top 7-0. Then with 5:53, Assalto gets it in for the touchdown on a 1-yard run. That drive was capped off, actually set off, I should say, by a 45-yard gallop for Kevin Jones on the counter. Wolverines with the ball. And carrying it is Hall. He'll find little running room as he gets it down to about the 45-yard line of the Mars Planets, and they'll give him a gain of about half a yard.
Right now, Jeff, we're coming down to the end of the first quarter, and I don't know whether Brian Asauto is going to have time to get off a play. We're down to about 20 seconds left, and the entire first quarter has been played in the home field side of the Mars Planets.
Clock winding down to about 10 seconds. And we might have motion on. I thought Petrelli might have moved a little soon on the near side, so it might be a motion call against the Wolverines. But they have no flag. That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, Ellwood City 14, Mars nothing. Now this match really out wide to the far side. Footbacks, Jones in motion in the slot. Here comes the roll-off pass. Asauto has a man open down there. Petrelli is picked off by Mars, and he has some running room. He's up to midfield. Cuts back inside, down to Wolverine territory on the 44-yard line. We have an injured Mars player down in the field, and coming up with that interception, defensive back Hoffman on the far side of the field, the cornerback, and he read that play well. Bill, he was able to step right in front of his intended receiver Petrelli on about the Wolverine, rather on the Mars 20-yard line, and he gets that interception return all the way back to Wolverine territory on the 43-yard line.
That's such a very difficult pass for a quarterback to make. He rolled to his left. He was rolling from his right to left, and Brian Asauto, who's a right-handed quarterback, had to throw across his body, and he was trying to go long. That would have been almost a 35-yard, 40-yard pass, and that's kind of a long pass for a high school player. Since it was also his first pass of the game, I'm surprised he tried to go so long with it.
Well, Petrelli was open on the play. Asauto just not able to lock that ball over top of the defender. We do have an injured Mars player on the field, and we will get that for you as soon as we can. That interception return, by the way, by Hoffman, carrying approximately 37 yards.
Well, Jeff, if you put three of the factors together here, the fact that Brian Asauto was rolling to his left, number two, it was his first pass of the ball game. He hadn't put the ball up yet. And number three, as I said before the play, he hadn't thrown it into the wind. And that's something I won't see when you see the film is the pressure of the wind. But we can see it blowing in the trees in the background right now. It is blowing from right to left across the field. Combined made that pass and through. What the injury came in the field, level 48 remaining in the second quarter play.
Wolverines 14, Mars nothing. Now this message. Player down for the Mars Planets. He will be carried off the field, and as it looks there, gingerly taking care of him and his right ankle and right knee area. So we hope that's not too serious for Bill.
You know, Jeff, with all the advancements in medical technology and the vast amounts of money being spent in football nowadays, I'm really surprised that some researcher somewhere hasn't come up with an invincible support for the knee, so it can't go left or right. Okay, we're back for action now.
Reesmeyer, split backs, motion man to the near side. Reesmeyer, sprint roll out to the near side. Has a man open and hits him. Gets it inside the 30-yard line. Ball is fumbled. Wolverines recover. Now that play was complete to the wideout handler. Did a simple curl pattern. Got it on the Wolverines 30-yard line. Took it to the 28. Fumbled, and it's recovered by Kevin Jones, who came up to make also the hit on the play and then make the recovery of the fumble. So that drive stopped by Mars. Wolverines have the ball back in their own territory on the 28-yard line. First down and 10. Petrelli out wide to the near side. Ball sits on the near hash mark, and Zimmerman lines up tight. Jones in motion. Straight ahead, Chapman. He's finding running tough today, as they have been keying on him a lot. He gets it out close to the 30-yard line. Pick up a 2, we'll call it. Second down and 8 to go for the first. Simeon coming up from that linebacker spot to fill the hole and make the stop.
Right now, with the defensive alignment of the Mars Planets, what I would be looking for Coach Rankin would be that quick off-tackle sweep that they run so effectively. They have a pulling man trapping in front. There's a timeout down on the field for equipment change, but they have a lead blocker out in front of Kevin Jones and Dave Hall, and they've been able to turn the ball up right off tackle. It's been a successful play to get off tackle and but the runners haven't realized that as soon as they turn it upfield and get through the initial line of scrimmage, they can break to the outside, and there's more running room for them.
Second down, 8 to go for the first for the Wolverines. Ball resting on their own 30-yard line. Hall with the counter to the near side, up to the 35, the 40 in time ahead, up to about the 41-yard line. Had he not lost his feet, Phil, the hole was there. He was in the defensive secondary. He does get enough, though, for a Wolverine first down with that last-second effort. And he'll put the ball on the 41-yard line of the Wolverines, first down and 10. Coming up with a stop is Ron Frank.
That was the exact play that I just described for you because Dave Hall came up, turned it off tackle, and he had some open field, but he decided to cut inside instead of out once again.
Wolverines lead at 14-0. First half of action, under 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Straight ahead, Chapman on the delay, gets it out close to the 44-yard line. He fumbles. Mars recovers. So, 2 consecutive fumbles quickly here. We had an interception. Mars got the ball back from the Wolverines, and Ron Frank recovers that fumble and also makes the hit on the play. And then they got the ball back. The Wolverines did. After a pass was completed to Mars, wide out. Hanlon, he fumbled the ball. Kevin Jones recovered. Wolverines had it back. Now Billy Chapman, his turn to fumble it away. And Mars with good field position on the Wolverine 44-yard line. First down and 10. Reese Meyer, pitch back. With a tailback, tiptoeing his way in time. Down to the 35. Still on his feet. And gets it down to the 30-yard line of the Wolverines. Hazley with some running room. Didn't look too pretty, Phil, but he was able to find the hole and get it taken care of business. He picked up a first down and 10 for the Mars Planets, and they are starting to move.
Well, the Wolverines were not expecting that particular kind of play, and when the runner was able to get through the initial tackles, it was pretty much wide open field in front of him.
Ketterer, by the way, with the stop on that play. Split backs. Brown in the slot. Again, Hazley looking for running. Which strung out well by the Wolverines. Kevin Jones, one of his tacklers, also Portugala coming up to make the stop. No gain in the play, and matter of fact, they'll give him... No, they won't. They'll spot the ball, just no gain. I thought he might have had a loss of about 1 on that. Second down and 10, ball resting on the Wolverine 32-yard line. And we'll see how tough the Wolverines are now with their backs against the wall. As the clock continues to run with 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Wolverines on top, 14-0. Mars Planet, though, threatening. Brown goes in motion for Mars to the far side. Here comes the sprint out back. Looking for room, has nowhere to go, and he's sacked. Coming in to make the tackle for the Wolverines. Patrick also in on the stop. Nick Perry blitzing from the outside linebacker spot, and he'll lose close to 10 yards in that play, taking the ball back to the 40-yard line.
Nick Perry was blitzing from his outside position, and he blitzed right into the rollout of Reese Meyer. Reese Meyer was able to stop and delay and sort of pick up a blocker. Perry was able also to play off that block, and by the time Reese Meyer had made a turn, he turned right back into Nick Perry again. Nice defensive play by the Wolverines.
And good coaching call by the Wolverine staff as they called the blitz and were able to call it just right. Third down, 20. Ball resting on the Wolverine 40-yard line. Trying to pass over the middle. It's incomplete. Good defensive coverage. DeLuca with the coverage. Brown intended receiver coming off that the button pattern in motion. That'll bring up a fourth down and 20 for the first.
I've been trying to keep an eye on the linebackers. That's Roth and Richard for the Wolverines, and they did not blitz on that time. They dropped back into coverage. Most of the blitzes from the Ellwood Wolverines have come out of their secondary, and that would be mainly Nick Perry.
Ketterer Portugala back to receive the punt, and Reese Meyer set to kick it away, standing on his own 45. High snap. Almost blocked by the Wolverines. Going to get off a high kick. Taken by Ketterer on his 10. Delay. Gets out to the 15. Still on his feet. Out to the 18-yard line. So about an 8-yard return for Ketterer. And he made a couple nice moves, Phil. Turned a no-gainer into an 8-yard gain for the Wolverines. They take over first down and 10 with the ball on their own 19-yard line.
And the Mars Planets fans have definitely found out the way to use their new stadium. It has a metal floor, a metal basin, and they can pound their feet, and it starts to echo all over the stadium. And so they found a new way to use their stadium already in its first ball game.
30-yard punt, that's an 8-yard return. First time the Wolverines have been able to return one of the Mars punts. As Saldo sets him down. Jones in motion. Here's a handoff to Jones. This is the play that made it big, and he wants to make it big again as he gets it out across the Wolverine 25 up to the 30. And depends on where they mark it, but it should be awfully close to another Wolverine first down.
Right now, that play off tackle is going to be the big gainer for the Wolverines because, as you said earlier, Jeff, What the Mars Planets have done in preparation for this ball game is tighten up their inside to stop Bill Chapman on those quick openers up the middle, and that's going to open up the off-tackle plays for both Hall and Jones, and that's exactly what happened.
Simeon on that stop on the last play. First down and 10. It's good enough for a Wolverine first. Chapman straight ahead handoff. Fine running room tough. A little more this time, though, as he picks up about 5 yards, getting across the Wolverine 35 to about the 37-yard line. Simeon again with the stop on the play. That'll make it second down and 5. Wolverines on top 14-0. They are driving the ball, and clock now under 6 minutes remaining in the first half of play.
The Wolverines, Mike Newpower, the center up the middle, was leading that, and it was all up to Chapman and Newpower to push the Planets back.
Petrelli out wide to the near side. Chapman this time off left tackle. The quick opening trap. Out close to another Wolverine first down. By about half a yard, but they might even bring the sticks in for a measurement. And I believe they will, as the officials asked for the clock to be stopped as Becker came up, the sophomore, for the stop for the Mars Planets. And the ball is resting on the Wolverine 41-yard line, and they had to go to about the 41.5 we'll call for the first.
Now, Jeff, keep an eye on both Simeon and Reynolds. They're the linebackers on defense, and what's happening is Brian Asaldo comes up to the line of scrimmage and starts to call his play. Those two linebackers will step up into different gaps between their defensive linemen in front of them, which has kind of mixed up the Wolverine blocking scheme. We'll see what happens this time now.
First down and 10. Chapman with enough for a Wolverine first down. Single setback. Hall in motion. Hall takes a handoff to the near side, has some room, cuts it back up inside, gets it up to about the 43-yard line. Ball was fumbled, but I do believe he was down on the play. And on the stop is Hazlett. Gain of 1, second down and 9 for the Wolverines.
What can happen now if the Wolverines are able to exploit this situation is that a quick play to the outside, something quick like an option or a quick pitch out to the outside can beat those linebackers and cornerbacks when they're coming up trying to fill in those gaps. You're going to get to the outside before they can make penetration.
Well, I thought Hall might continue to string that out. He has lots of running room. Chose back to turn it back inside. Here comes the option. Jones up to the 45. Midfield, cuts back across midfield at the foot race. He's down to the 30 and about the taken down at the 30-yard line. They'll mark it at the 33 as Brown came up with that saving tackle, or Jones was on his way to the races once again.
All right, there you go, Jeff. That was a quick play to the outside that the Wolverines needed. Brian Asaldo took out from out of under center, broke to his left. He had Kevin Jones with him, and the linebackers had filled the gaps in so quickly there was no defensive secondary help until Kevin Jones reached the safety man.
25-yard pickup for Jones and another Wolverine first down. They are on the 33-yard line of the Mars Planet. Hall in the slot, comes in motion to the near side. Straight ahead, Chapman, he'll find running room this time, still on his feet fighting for yardage down inside the 25, and he's corralled down at about the 22-yard line. And that's close for another Wolverine first down.
Sometimes it's luck, Jeff, and sometimes it isn't, because that time the Wolverines were able to catch the Mars Planets in their straight defense with the linebackers holding straight. And when that happened and they had the right call, the Bill Chapman call right up the middle, it broke open for him very quickly, and another big gain of almost 10 yards.
Dave Brown came up with a stop, but we'll see in just a minute or so whether or not it was good enough to stop him from the first down. It wasn't. Wolverines do have a first down and 10 on the 22-yard line of the Mars Planets.
22 yards.
Total offense so far has been passing as far as the Mars Planets are concerned. One pass play has accounted for all of their yardage offensively.
Petrelli out wide to the near side. Jones in motion. Jones again with the handoff. Cuts off left tackle. Finds some room down to about the 20. And they'll mark him down on the 19-yard line. Pickup of about 3. That'll bring up a second down and 7. And on the stop, Reynolds for the Mars Planets. Under 4 minutes and about actually 3.5 minutes remaining now in the first half of play. Wolverines lead it 14-0. Bill would like to get another score and go in with a 21-0 halftime lead.
That would be great, because that's pretty close to being the spot in today's ball game, and you'd like to have that by halftime.
Petrelli again wide to the near side. DeLuca in motion. Here comes the option. Asaldo. Pitch back to DeLuca. Takes it on the 20. Tries to get outside, but strung out well as Dave Brown comes over to string it out for the Mars Planets. Makes the tackle. And so far the option has been giving the Wolverines trouble, as Mars has been working well against that, stringing it out and not giving the Wolverine runners any room to the outside on that option, whereas the counterplay is giving Mars Planets trouble and working well for the Wolverines.
And I would suspect that you're going to see some kind of a play now where they're going to have a pass. I see Joe Robb coming into the lineup, though, and Joe is usually in there in situations where they want him to carry the ball for some yardage because he's the biggest running back the Wolverines can put in there.
Pickup of about 2, third down, 5 to go for the first. Rott, here he comes, down to the 15. And we'll be shy of a Wolverine first down. That'll bring up 4th and short for the first of about 2 yards, but we'll call 1.5 to go, a long 1 for the first down, as the ball was resting on the 14-yard line of the Mars Planets.
Well, what I would suspect, Jeff, under normal circumstances, had they been going to the other side of the field, I would suspect that you would see Sean Reese come on to try in a field goal from, where are they? They're about the 15-yard line. I'm sure they would attempt a field goal from this situation, but there is that strong wind blowing, and right now I don't think that Coach Rankin would try the field goal. He's probably going to come up with a different play, and I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't want to venture a call, but Joe Robb is going to stay in the lineup, so it might go to the big back again.
Timeout on the field, 2:10 remaining in the first half of play. Ellwood leads at 14-0 over Mars. Now this message. And a long 1 to go on the 14-yard line. Here comes the option. Asaldo keeps it, gets the first down as he takes it down to the 10-yard line. Pick up a 4 on the play. And he'll put him inside the 10, just shy of the 9 of the Mars Planets. Gain of about 4. That'll be a first down and goal to go from the 9 of the Mars Planets. So Asaldo does the job.
That was a great call because Asaldo that time caught man-to-man coverage outside with Hazley, and Hazley had to make a decision. Was he going to try to tackle the quarterback or the pitchman? And he went for the pitchman, and Asaldo turned it up inside. And Hazley's not a very big kid, so I don't think he would have been able to pull Brian down anyway.
About a minute and a half remaining in the first half. Straight ahead and up. Chapman, he'll find trouble as he gets this back to the original line of scrimmage. No gain. 2nd and goal from the 9.
All right, as we said before, from the 10-yard line on in, the Wolverines could have more trouble because that's when they face that goal line defense and they have to change their blocking schemes and the patterns change. All their assignments are a little bit different, and that's exactly what's going to happen from the 10-yard line on in.
Frank on that stop, and Wolverines again call another timeout, but I don't think Brian Asaldo wanted to call that.
Yeah, I think so, Jeff. What he's complaining about is that he had signaled timeout, and the referee was signaling timeout, but the clock continued to run, and it ran down for about another 8 seconds.
So minute 8 remaining in the first half of play. An official timeout on the field. Ellwood City 14, Mars nothing. Now this message. Yard line at the Mars Planets. Wolverines with the ball. Phil, what do you look for?
To tell you the truth, I'm going to look for them to put it in the air, either this play or the next one. I think that Brian has lured the defense in well enough now to try something in the air.
Jones in the slot. Here comes the pass. Trying to go to Timmerman. Deflective. Riesmeyer coming over and make a nice stop because Scotty Timmerman wide open on about the 1-yard line. Fastball's incomplete. 3rd down and goal from the 9.
Scott was open. He went from his right tight end position, went down and ran a little curl outside, and he was open. The pass might have been tipped. Either that or it was just a little bit astray to the right side of Timmerman. We're going to try it again now.
Petrelli again out wide to the far side. Split backs. Go to Chapman. Rather that they pitch up back to Jones. And they have me fooled again. I thought nice fake by Asaldo to Chapman for the dive straight ahead. Pitch back to Jones. He'll get nowhere on the play as Riesmeyer comes up to make the stop along with Frank. That'll bring up a 4th and goal from the Mars 9-yard line.
Now, I'm a little bit surprised with that call and why they went wide left. They ran the option to the left side of the field, which means the ball is going to be marked on the left hash mark of the field, not in the center of the field. I sort of expected Coach Rankin to run some kind of a counter up front for Bill Chapman, or their quick trap for Bill Chapman, because if it fails to get you a touchdown from that particular point on the field, at least you have a setup for Sean Reese, but he's going to attempt it from the left side hash mark anyway.
Official timeout on the field with the score Ellwood City 14, Mars nothing. Now this message.
Frank LeGrand.
He's set to try the field goal attempt for the Wolverines. Kick is up. Is it good? Yes, it is. Jeff made it over the crossbar. Is good enough. And
It actually was about a 30-yarder from where they put it down about the 20-yard line, and he kicked it up, and he didn't get all of his foot into it, and the wind might have knocked it down a little bit, but it was enough to just barely get over that crossbar, Jeff.
The Wolverines get another 3 points tacked on. They lead at 17-0, and probably will take that lead with them in at the halftime. 17. Well, we know it'll take the lead in with them, but Mars still having 52 seconds to work with here in the first half of play. So Reese showing his ability with his leg to get that kick through despite the fact that he had the wind in his face. Reese set to kick it away for the kickoff from left to right. And Brown, along with Webb and Hoffman, back to receive. Sean's kicks have been squibbles so far. This time he'll get his leg into one. It'll hold up short on the 10. Brown takes it. He's across the 25. And to find no more running room, had a seam in the middle, but it closed quickly as Portugala came up to make the stop, along with DeLuca as he gets it out to the 26-yard line, where the Mars Planets have 45 seconds to work with till the end of the first half.
And John Compa, who's on the right side of the kicking team, was up on the right side, and he turned that play inside. And had it not been for him turning Brown back inside, there probably wouldn't have been a tackle in for the other guys. Good job by John Compa.
Frank and Hazley are split backs. Brown goes in motion behind Reesmeyer. Reesmeyer roll out to the right, pumps, looks to the near side of the field, chased out of the pocket. Reesmeyer looks back to the right, hits the receiver Hazley in midfield, and Reesmeyer showing that forward of an arm as he gets it to Hazley. They get it in Wolverine territory on the 47-yard line where the clock is stopped and the timeout is called. They have 16 seconds to work with, so these guys aren't about to lay over and play dead.
No, Reesmeyer had plenty of time to throw that ball, but on defense, I might add that Joe Rupp, who was back there in coverage, turned around. He saw Reesmeyer, who had originally started to roll right, came back away from oncoming pressure, came back to the left side. Joe momentarily left the receiver open, and that's when Reesmeyer was able to hit him downfield. Joe Roth had played original defense well, but then when the pass protection broke down and Reesmeyer broke out, Roth came up, and it was too late because then the receiver opened up.
Portugala, by the way, on the coverage and the stop, as Hazley is a pretty big target, standing at about 6'1". 16 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Wolverines lead at 17-0. But as we have mentioned, the Mars Planets threatening. They are on the 47-yard line for Wolverines. First down and 10 after that pass completion. Brown in motion in the slot, comes to the near side of the field. Straight drop back. Now he rolls out, sets up, tries to throw, picked off by Mickey Jones, and he will get it on the Wolverine 32-yard line, so that will end the threat. Now, people thought that Jones might have trapped that, but he was able to get his arms underneath it and make a diving catch on the Wolverine 31-yard line for that interception. So Ellwood City takes control of the football again with 8 seconds, and I'm sure Soda will probably just hold on to it to end the first half of play as they will take a 17-0 lead to the locker room at the half.
They're going to just let the clock run out because the clock will start. And the half has actually ended now.
Okay, that's the end of the first half with the score Ellwood City 17, Mars nothing. We'll be back to recap the first half of action after this message. This will be the first time that Reesmeyer, by the way, handling all the kicking chores for the Mars Planets. Chapman, DeLuca, back to receive the kick, along with the Wolverines, Jay Patrick. Chapman takes the ball on the 15. He's up to the 20, where he is taken down at about the 25-yard line. And the man who made the tackle on Chapman was punished a little bit himself in getting up kind of slowly. On the stop is Scott Rieger.
Number 57.
First down and 10 for the Wolverines with the ball on their own 27-yard line.
And just as we had mentioned there at halftime, it is Chris Ketterer who starts at quarterback to start the second half of this ball game. So we're in a quarterback struggle in Ellwood City, and it's Chris Ketterer under the helm right now.
Timmerman lines up tight on the near side. Petrelli in the slot. Jones in motion. Straight ahead handoff. Chapman, a big hole. He's up to the 40. Cuts back inside the midfield. A nice run by Chapman. The quick opener working that time well for the Wolverines. as Chapman picks up a first down and a lot more as he gets it out across midfield down into Mars territory at about the 46-yard line. And Bill showing good acceleration once he got past the linebackers.
And, you know, he must have read the statistics at halftime because he quickly jumped up from a 40-yard difference between he and Kevin Jones in the first half to almost tying the statistics on that one run.
That was a 28-yard carry for Chapman. Again, he goes off left tackle. Again, more running room. Puts his shoulder down, still bowling ahead for yardage as he gets it down close to the 25-yard line of the Mars Planet. And another Wolverine first down. So Bill Chapman coming out here in the second half of play, ready to play some football. And he finds more running room as Hazley makes the stop on that play.
Oh, and poor little Danny Hoffman, a little defensive back, came up to make that tackle, and Bill Chapman ran right over him. Hoffman must have thought he ran into a freight train because Chapman hit him and knocked him backwards about 3 yards, and Chapman kept right on going.
About a 15-yard gain for Bill Chapman, and Wolverines on 2 plays are deep in Mars territory. Hall with the carry, gets it down close to the 20-yard line. We'll call it a pickup of about 4 on the plays. They mark it on the 21. Second down, 6 to go for a Wolverine first. Just underway in the second half of play. Ellwood City leads at 17-0 as Dell Becker, the defensive end, makes that stop.
A quick delayed trap that time using Jim DeCarry, the left tackle, but the delay worked a little bit too slowly to break for any long yardage for the Wolverines.
Chapman Jones, split backs. Chapman, motion penalty will be called against the Wolverines as I do believe Jones moved a little too soon on the play, and that is what the call is from referee Fats Cabellas. That'll back the Wolverines up 5, bringing up a second down. And about 11 to go for the first.
All right, now watch for Chris Ketter as he runs that offense. And I'll tell you what, you don't lose a whole lot of leverage. You don't lose a lot of experience when you put the junior Chris Ketter in there at quarterback. He has run with the first team in both of the first 2 ball games, so he's experienced back there, and they're not going to lose too much with Ketter stepping under center.
10-19 remaining in the the third quarter of play. Wolverines lead it 17-0. Second down. And a long 10 for a Wolverine first. Ball resting on the 25-yard line of the Mars Planets. Here's the draw. Kevin Jones looking for room, finds little as he gets it inside the 25, down to about the 21-yard line. So a pickup of about 4 on the play will make it third down and 6 to go for a Wolverine first. Back basically to the original line of scrimmage.
And really what we're going to see now, even though they're going into the wind, we'll probably see Chris Ketter putting it up for the first time. Even though they're in 4 down distance here, they'll probably put the ball up in the air and try for the first down on this particular play.
Petrelli out wide to the near side, split backs. Here comes the rollout pass. Ketter rolling left. Holds it, gets the first down as he gets it down in close. He'll get it in for the touchdown, and an excellent run, excellent play by Chris Ketter, the junior quarterback for the Wolverines. He rolled out, Phil, intending the pass to the far side of the field. Roll out left. Found no receivers open. Said, I'll take it, tuck the ball, and get the first down. He got that and said, hey, there's no one even coming after me. Cut back inside and picked up that touchdown for the Wolverines from 21 yards out.
That play definitely was meant to be a pass, Jeff, but there was so much wide open space on that left side. Chris Ketter at the 20-yard line tucked the ball and said, I'm going to put it down, take it down. And at about the 5-yard line, he made a nice move on Reesmeyer and faked left and went back up to the middle to his right and had clear sailing into the end zone.
Wolverines lead at 23-0. Sean Reese set to kick it away. Snap is good, almost blocked. Kick is up and no good, off wide to the left. So it's 9:34 remaining in the third quarter of play. Ellwood City 23, Mars Planet 0. Now this message. Bring Ketter to get into the end zone that time. One of those blocks that I noticed, Kevin Jones downfield with a nice block, and that enabled Ketter to spring to the inside field for that touchdown.
And you don't lose a lot of size with Chris Ketter either. He stands at 6 foot, 165 pounds. He's not a real heavy kid, but he's got enough size that he can maneuver in once he gets into a defensive secondary, and he was able to do it.
Kickoff of Squibbler again, taken by the up man Brown.
Number 22.
And he gets a good return as he backs his way, turning his back, kind of dangerous running, but he is able to get his way up to about the 36-yard line. First down and 10, and Hoffman carried the ball and that is a return of 13 yards for the Mars Planet. So they take a first down and 10 from their own 26.
I think we should mention also that was not Sean Reese who kicked off that time. It was Tom Morgan, the sophomore, who moved up to kick the ball off. And he might have even been the one who kicked it off last time because both kicks looked exactly the same. They were line drive squibbers.
They'll take it, check that, not their own 26, their own 36. First down and 10, Reesmeyer, the quarterback, split backs. Here comes the late counter and carrying the ball. Mark Santa, and he picks up no yards on the play as the Wolverines converge to make the stop. That'll bring up a second down and 10 situation.
On the defensive line for the Wolverines, Sean Reese, Chris Cortez, Brian Gibbons, and Bill Peretta up front. They've been stopping that run consistently all day. Once again, no yardage rushing for the Mars Planets.
Second down, 10, split backs. Webb out wide to the near side. Here comes the pass. Reesmeyer looking. He won't get it off as Nick Perry comes in to make the stop and takes him down for a loss of 4 in the play, bringing up a 3rd and 14 situation. And let's see. They'll have the ball resting on their own
3rd and 12.
33-yard line. So they'll give them only a loss of 2.
One thing visiting coaches are going to have to respect is Nick Perry, because he's had at least 2 unassisted tackles in every ball game this year, and that was another case where he was able to break free on the blitz and get himself in position to make the tackle.
3rd down, 12 for the Mars Planet. Santa been motioned to the near side towards wideout Hanlon. Here again, play action pass, and again he'll go down. Nick Perry again in there, and also the last man to get up off the bottom of the pile for the Wolverines was Ritzer, who blitzed in from the inside linebacker slot. So that'll bring up a 4th down situation, loss of about 4, and that'll make it close to a 4th and 15 situation for the Mars Planets, as they will be forced to punt it away on their own 28-yard line.
Once again, a nice defensive stand by the Wolverines, and that's been their tradition this year, has been good defense.
Bad snap. Reesmeyer has to rush his kick. Gets off a wobbly one, but it hangs high, taken by Portugal on his own 43 to the 45. Up across the midfield, has the wall set up. One man to beat, and he makes the tackle. Reesmeyer had to hold his ground. Portugal, the Wolverines had the wall set up as Portugal gets it down to about the 23-yard line of the Mars Planets.
The first man downfield for the Planets came up very quickly, and it was Chris Ketterer, the man back there with Portugala, who hit him for the original block to spring Portugala down that left side, and it was a nice first block by Ketterer. Ketterer will continue at quarterback too.
38-yard return, almost a touchdown, but stopped by the kicker Reesmeyer. Chapman takes the handoff from Ketterer, and those two kind of ran into each other in the backfield. And that slowed up the progress of Bill a little bit. He gets it down to about the 26-yard line. Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8, and Becker coming in to make the stop for the Mars Planets.
Well, that kind of miscommunication can happen when you put a new quarterback into the ballgame. And fortunately, it's only happened this one time so far for the Wolverines.
2nd and 8, Ketterer the quarterback. Jones in motion to the far side. The option. Ketterer keeps it. Now the pitch back. Flag on the play, and this play probably will be nullified. We'll either have a holding or a motion call. And from when the flag flew, Phil, I would say holding.
It could well be that, or it could be the split man on that left side could have come back and clipped. It's
right.
That option that we talked about where they cut back and they try to block someone from the outside. And, yep, that's what it looks like.
That's what it'll be. So that'll back the Wolverines up, and that gain, by the way, would have been enough for a first down for the Wolverines. Mickey Jones taking the pitch from Ketterer. He's able to cut it back inside and get it down to about the 15-yard line of the Mars Planet.
Well, we discussed that last week. We discussed that particular play where the wide receiver, Petrelli, comes back, and he has to make a tough block inside, and he has to actually time it in such a way that he's able to block the defender just as the defender's turning to the outside. And what it can happen oftentimes is you might catch him just before he turns, which is a clipping penalty.
Ketterer, rollout pass to the left, has his receiver. Pass is complete to Kevin Jones out of the backfield, and about 5 yards shy of a Wolverines first down. But considering what the Wolverines had to do and where they had to go, they were backed up 15 by that clipping penalty by Petrelli. And they'll be about 5 yards shy of a Wolverine first down with the ball resting on the Mars Planet's 23-yard line.
The pass wasn't pretty. It kind of wobbled in the air, but it floated just over the defender and down into the hands of Kevin Jones. So in that sense of the word, it was a pretty pass.
About a 19-yard pickup. Ketterer Jones, again, he tries to hit his wide out, this time going to Petrelli, and that pass is thrown high and out of bounds. Fourth down, 5 to go for a Wolverine first. Ketterer in at quarterback, and Bill mentioned Ketterer has been the starting quarterback here in the second half of play. Ellwood City leads at 23-0, 5:48 remaining in the third quarter of play. They face a 4th and 5 situation. And some fancy handing off inside as Jones picks up enough for a Wolverine first down. And a dangerous play to run that close to the line of scrimmage.
That's kind of an unusual play. That was it looked like an inside double reverse, where what they did was they handed off to Hall coming from left to right and handed off back to Jones on his inside, who cut it back off the left tackle and upfield, and he got enough for the first down. So that's the first time we've seen that play for the Wolverines this year.
Reynolds in on the stop for the Mars Planets. First down and 10 from the 16-yard line of the Mars Planets. Ketterer sets him down. Jones goes in motion to the far side. Now, Hall will have moved too soon, and the officials catch that quickly. That'll back up the Wolverines 5, make it a 1st and 15 from the Mars 21-yard line.
There's no doubt that what Coach Rankin is going to want to do right now is to show some of the people here that he does have a passing attack. And I wouldn't be surprised throughout the second half, and maybe even this set of downs coming up. They have first down again in 15 now. What they'll probably want to do is to show people that they do have a passing attack, so that at least Coach Tarquinio will not be able to put up his 8-man front line, or next week Coach Williams, Maxie Williams out of New Brighton. They're going to have to respect the arm of the quarterback.
Chapman, the single setback, wide out to the far side. DeLuca in the slot comes in motion. Hand off the counter to DeLuca to the 20. Fights his way down to about the 15-yard line. Pickup of close to 5, give him 6, and that'll bring up a 2nd and long 9 situation for the Ellwood City Wolverines as they have the ball resting on the 15-yard line of the Mars Planets. On the stop, Del Becker, the defensive end for the Planets.
So far, if nothing else, the Wolverines have successfully run out the clock throughout the third period. We're coming down to 4.5 minutes left, and the Wolverines have held the ball throughout almost the entire third quarter.
Again, single setback. Hall, play action pass. Ketterer has his receiver, Petrelli, open. Now, had Rick not fallen over there when he went to make his cut on about the 2-yard line, he might have been able to get up in time enough to make that catch on the coverage for the Planets with Saddam, and that pass is incomplete, bringing up a 3rd and a long 9 on the 15-yard line of the Planets.
Now, you're going to probably see the Wolverines put the ball back up in the air again, and as you already said, had Petrelli not slipped as he tried to make his move, Ketterer had him open as he was curling in about the 5-yard line.
3rd and a long 9. DeLuca in motion to the near side. Again, that same pass. This time, it will be a keeper play by Ketterer. He tries to fight his way down close to the goal line. He does so. Picks up another Wolverine first down. They'll have a 1st and goal from about the 2-yard line of the Mars Planets. And coming to stop is Chris Hazley.
So I'm not sure exactly what's happening on that left side of the defensive right side, the Wolverines' offensive left side, but the second time in a row, Chris Ketterer had no intention that time of putting the ball up in the air. As soon as he looked up, instead of going down with it, he tucked that ball away and had all intentions of running right from the start.
1st and goal from the 2. Straight ahead, Chapman tries to dive up over center. Gets it down to about the 1-yard line. And on the stop for the Mars Planets, Ron Frank is coming up from that linebacker position to make the stop. 2nd and goal from the 1.
Okay, and then probably they'll go with either Chapman or the counter to Hall in this situation. And if they don't make it here, you might see Joe Roth come back in for the big strong man off tackle.
2 setbacks. Again, Chapman, he'll dive in. No signal yet. And from our vantage point, it looked like he got in, but he didn't. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Don't be deceived by the PA announcer, because they just got through saying that he dove into the end zone, and we know that the referees have marked it short again.
I think that time Billy might have left his feet a little too soon. Had he pushed off for one more step, he might have been able to power his way in. 3rd and goal, so Mars holding strong with their backs to the wall once again, as they have done all the game long. Wolverines lead it, though, 23-0. Would like to get another score on the board to make it 29. 2:56 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play, and Ellwood has done a good job running down that clock, as Phil mentioned, in this 3rd quarter. Quarterback sneak, and he didn't get it because his knee went down at about the 1-yard line.
Now here comes an interesting decision. We're 2:40 and counting, 4th down and less than 1 yard. They're right at the goal line, and we're going to have a timeout call. Although you might think a defensive stand here would really ignite the Mars Planets. I really don't think it would, because they would be right on their own half-yard line. And here comes Joe Roth into the ball game, and I wouldn't be surprised. He's sort of the Ellwood City Wolverines' answer to the refrigerator. He might walk in there because he's a big, strong running back, and he's a defensive linebacker. So it would kind of like being in the old Steeler days, putting Jack Lambert in to run the ball for you, because he's a mean, tough kid, and he can take the ball and knock people over.
And that play that they like to use Roth on is a simple counter. Also, they use Jones on that. Roth more for power, Jones for speed. And as Phil mentioned, if you get in the way of Roth, chances are you're going to be carried with him wherever he's going, especially if he's able to build up a good head of steam. Wolverines lead at 23-0, and over the Mars Planets. 2:38 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play.
The only thing, excuse me, Jeff, the only thing that might break up a play like this is it takes a little bit of time for the play to develop. Ketterer has to turn around and hand off to Roth as he's moving, and sometimes that little bit of a delay that it takes to turn around and get the handoff taken care of might be enough for a defensive man to slip through.
Right. So the men up front will have to hold their blocks to make this play work. That is even if they run this play. They might even go with the straight-ahead handoff, use Roth possibly as a blocker, and they'll go to Roth with that play, and he gets into the end zone, and that time there was a gaping hole as Billy Chapman led the way throwing the blocks, and the Wolverines go on top by even more, making it now 29-0. Sean Reese will come on to attempt that extra point conversion.
Sean Reese coming onto the field, and I can see why he's not been kicking off, because he has his left leg heavily bandaged, and he had to limp onto the field. So although I'm sure he's not going to be involved in defensive plays and kickoffs, a short kick like this should be enough for that bum knee. It looks like it's pretty heavily taped from here.
Right, it looks like they might even have an ice pack on it at the time, so he might have taken a shot in that knee. Snap is down, and that kick is blocked by Dave Brown. Everything was there in time. It just Brown was able to shoot in and block that. Wolverines lead at 29-0. There's 2:34 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. Now this message. Webb and Hoffman flanking Brown back to receive the kick. Wolverines set to kick it away. Again, a short kick goes past Hoffman. He goes back in the end zone to get it, and that's where they'll take it 1st down and 10 on the 20, as it will be a touchback.
Yeah, the ball went into the end zone, and the referee was quick to quickly wave that off, and the ball will come back out to the 20-yard line. But I was just going to mention that the injury to Sean Reese could very well be a blessing in disguise for the Wolverines, because that's one of the positions that you don't very often substitute in your lineup when you get far ahead. It's one of the positions he kind of stays the same. So the Wolverines have been forced now to go to a different kicker, and that could provide experience for them down the road.
Morgan, the sophomore, by the way, he kicked off and been kicking off most of this second half. Actually, a good part of the first half, actually, too. Reesmeyer goes to Hazley. He finds no running room as he gets it up to the original line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 on the stop. Kevin Jones along with Roth to make that play. Morgan, by the way, the sophomore for the Wolverines, handling the punting duties, and Wolverines have not been forced to punt the ball at all today.
And it's Rick Blaskowitz, number 51, who has moved into the lineup for the Wolverines. He'll be taking Sean Reese's place at the right defensive end for the Wolverines throughout the second half, and he was up there on that tackle, so he played off his block fairly well.
Webb out wide to the near side. Ball sits in the hash mark to the near side. Reesmeyer long count. Rollout pass to the near side. Sets up. Looks. Hits his man Webb on the 30-yard line of the Mars Planet. That'll be close to a first down, but I believe shy by about a yard, so they'll bring up a 3rd and 9 with the ball resting on the 29. He had to curl back to get that ball filled, and doing a good job doing that with Webb. On the coverage, Kevin Jones.
And Evan Westland has entered the ball game, too. He's playing at one linebacker spot now for Richards, which is going to give Richard a rest and let him just go on offense. Evan Westland at the right linebacker spot.
Backs are split. Reesmeyer, long count. Again, Hazley, he'll find the first down and more. He flips as he gets up to about the 35-yard line of the Planet, and he's taken down by DeLuca. So that's enough for a first down yardage for the Mars Planet, as we have about a minute remaining in the third quarter of play. Ball resting on the 36-yard line of the Planets.
And through 3 quarters now of play, the Mars Planets have, that was their first plus yardage in running. They've gained more than 1 yard on any rushing attempt. That was it right there, where they put together 3 or 4 yards.
Webb out wide to the near side. Straight ahead handoff goes to Frank, and he'll pick up a couple.
Number 32, Ron
as he gets it up close to the Planet 40-yard line. 2nd down, 8 to go for a Planet first down. As Westland made the stop from that inside backer spot.
And Jay Patrick has come into the ball game, so the Wolverines are spelling off some of their players up front to give them a rest, because it is kind of a warm afternoon. Not brilliant sunshine out there, but it's warm underneath all those pads.
Split back, Sandeman motion to the near side towards Hanlon. Rollout pass, sets up, Reesmeyer, and pass is incomplete. Good coverage. Portugallo along with DeLuca on the coverage. Intend to receiver Sanum, the man who came in motion to the near side, was open, Phil, on the Wolverine 45, but that pass by Reesmeyer holding in the kind of a wobbly duck.
Yes, and he was under pressure. Reesmeyer was. It was Richard. Excuse me. It wasn't Richard. It was. Let me check the number here. It was Brian Gibbons who came in from his left side, and he had a lot of pressure inside on Reesmeyer. But down to just 6 seconds left in the third quarter.
Again, Sandeman in motion this time to the far side. Reesmeyer nowhere to go. He'll be sacked as the Wolverines Patrick blitzes in to make the stop. Patrick coming in to make the stop for the Wolverines, and Reesmeyer a little slow getting up as he was shaken up in that play, but he is okay as he jogs off of the field. That's the end of the third quarter of play with the score 29-0. Ellwood City on top. We'll be back with fourth and final quarter action after this mess. 15 yards to go for a Mars first down, and they will be forced to punt it away. Portugallo, DeLuca back to receive on the Wolverine 40-yard line. Reesmeyer to kick it away for the Planets. Wolverines lead at 29-0, and this is the fourth quarter of play. Looking for their third win and their third shutout if they can hold on to this lead at the present time. Bad kick, high and wobbly, hits at the 50, takes a bounce from Mars, and DeLuca and Portugallo standing next to each other had to duck as it almost hit both those guys in the helmet, and it's down on about the 42-yard line. Now they'll back it back up to the 38-yard line of the Wolverines, where they take over first down and 10, and that carried about 32 yards on the punt. So overall, Reesmeyer's kick's not going far, but they are taking bounces for the Planets each time. That one carrying 32 yards.
And right after this particular play coming up, Jeff, I have a few statistics to let people know about through 11 quarters of play this season. Some amazing statistics on the early season for the Wolverines. We'll throw them out right after this play.
Jones comes in motion to the near side, straight ahead to Chapman to the 40. Still on his feet up to the 45-yard line of the Wolverines, where he is taken down on the 46. Pickup of 8, 2nd down and 2 for the first, as coming up for the stop was for the Mars Planet, Ron Frank and also Pete Becker.
Real quickly, Jeff, statistically now, after 11 quarters of play this season, Ellwood City leads its opponents over 800 yards to 0 rushing. And score-wise, 97-0 as far as score goes through 11 quarters this season.
Some impressive stats, and something they can be proud of. Chapman finds running room hard this time, as he is brought down for no gain, 3rd down and 8. And on the stop is David Reynolds, the linebacker, inside backer for the Mars Planets. 10:34 and running remaining in this ball game this afternoon. Wolverines lead it 29-0. Phil and I will be on the air next Friday night as the Wolverines will be hosting New Brighton, and they posted that big 20-6 win over Riverside last night at New Brighton's home field. Jones motions to the near side with the split back. Here comes the option. Oh my, the pitch is bad. Partially blocked and picked up by the Mars Planets. Good defensive play by the Planets as their linebacker Ron Frank was able to knock that pitch down from Ketterer to Jones and jump on it, and the Mars Planets have control and in good field position too, Phil, I might add, on the Wolverine 39.
Probably the best field position of the day, the first time on the Wolverine side of the field. And it was the option play, and Kidder, just as he was ready to pitch the ball back, had his arm hit, and the ball went astray.
Riesmeyer sends Brown in motion to the near side. Riesmeyer looks to pass. Almost picked off by Jones. Now he had two receivers in the area. One was Hanlon, and the other was Brown. They tried to flood the zone. Fastball's incomplete, and it was near neither receiver.
And on that play, Brown coming in motion from left to right very nearly turned upfield too early. I've seen that happen 2 times in a row now. The line judges on the opposite side was on the in the wrong position there to catch that play, but they'll have to watch carefully because he nearly turned upfield just a step before the count.
Webb now wide to the far side. Brown in the slot to the near side. Straight drop back now. He rolls out. In trouble. That pass is intercepted by the Wolverines. And coming up with the interception will be linebacker Chris Cortez, rather defensive tackle. And he was at the right place in the right time. And I think Philly wanted to not just catch that ball out of bounds. He wanted to run a little bit with that football when he got his hands on it.
Good hands on a part of Chris Cortez. Oftentimes those defensive linemen, they have their hands taped up and pads on them, and they can't really touch the ball and get a good touch and control of it. Cortez reached out, grabbed it with his hands, and was able to pull it in, but the quarterback, Riesmeyer, was hit very hard, and I think it was Roth who hit him just as he was ready to leave go of the ball, and it just popped straight up in the air.
Blindsided him. Ketterer, the quarterback for the Wolverines, fall on their own 40-yard line. Wolverines go straight ahead again, holding on to that trap that has worked successfully for them throughout the 2 ball games they've played this season, and including today, starting to open up a little bit more as Ionelli carries it straight ahead. Pick up about 5, 2nd and 5 to go from the 45-yard line of the Wolverines.
Coach Rankin has gone with his underclass backfield now with Ketterer at quarterback, and he has DeLuca on one side, and it's Ionelli on the other.
DeLuca in motion. Here comes the option. Pitch back to DeLuca. Flips one tackle, gets it inside of Mars territory to about the 49-yard line. It should be enough for a Wolverine first down, and it will be. They'll move the sticks, 1st and 10 from the 49 of the Planet as Riesmeyer came up with the stop.
Nice move outside by Johnny DeLuca, because just as he took that pitch, there was a man there to grab him by the shoulder pads, and he was able to shake that man off and gain more yardage. We might add that Johnny DeLuca played a nice game last week coming off the bench, especially on punt returns. He made a nice return, played an excellent ball game last week.
1st and 10 for the Wolverines on the 49-yard line of the Planet. Straight ahead handoff. Ionelli finding little running room, but picks up about 3, 2nd and 7 from the 46 now of the Mars Planets. 8:06 remaining in this ball game. And coming up with a stop is Dave Simeon. The 2nd and 7 for the Wolverines. They lead it 29-0.
Okay, excuse me. There are some replacements up on the line for the Wolverines, too, because I see DeCaria up there. He's on the line. He's different. And other than that, they're pretty much intact as far as their offensive line from the start of the ball game.
Ketterer, short drop, looks, hits his wide out Petrelli. He picks up close to another Wolverine first down as he gets it down across the 40 to about the 38-yard line of the Planets. And Riesmeyer along with the Planets' Chris Hazley on that stop. And that will be good enough for another Wolverine first down, so call a pickup of 11 on that pass play. Ketterer to Petrelli, the wideout, for that first down.
At 29-0 now in the 4th quarter of the ball game, the Wolverines are driving once again on their way down toward another score.
Ionelli looks for running room, picks up about 2 as he gets it close to the 35-yard line of the Planets. On the stop, Simeon once again.
you can see sometimes the difference between the starting back Chapman and some of the replacements who come in later in a ball game, because Bill Chapman has a lower center of balance, and he's very, very strong. A lot of times he's able to shake off some of the tackles that normal players would go down by.
Petrelli wide to the near side, split backs, and Jones comes in motion to the near side. Option run to the near side of the field. Ketterer, he'll tuck the football, finds some room down to the 30, to 25. He's trying to get outside, and he is able to do so as he gets it down to the 14-yard line of the Mars Planet as Dave Brown makes that stop. If not, Ketterer is on his way to another touchdown.
And beautiful faking on a part of Ketterer that time. He had two men out there, and they had to make a decision as to who they were going to go with on the option, and both of them chose to go with Kevin Jones, the pitch man, and Ketterer took the ball, tucked it back in, turned it upfield, and then cut back outside, and he had a nice opening upfield. He's going to become one of the leading rushers on a ball game for the Wolverines.
And about a 21-yard pickup for Mr. Ketterer on that carry. Another Wolverines first down, as Phil mentioned. Wolverines go straight ahead and try that trap play, and it closes up quickly. The hole was there as Becker made the stop. Pete Becker,
number 78.
made the stop on that play as Ionelli carried the ball for the Wolverines.
I'm going to have to ask Coach Rankin next week what his philosophy is as far as games or situations are concerned. Would he prefer to show coaches who are scouting him a lot of different things, or would he prefer to keep it as conservative as possible? It seems to me he's been playing it pretty much by the vest throughout this ball game.
2nd and 9 from the 14-yard line of the Planets. Counter. He goes to Nick Perry, and he finds some yardage as he goes off right tackle on that counter, gets it inside the 10, down to about the 7-yard line. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 3 situation. Wolverines need to go to about the 4-yard line of the Planets for the first as Reesmeyer made the stop. And once again, Phil, as we heard in the first 2 ball games of the Wolverines, defensive backs having their name called for making the tackles.
Right, and we don't need to overemphasize that point too much, because people, once you hear the defensive backs being called over and over again making tackles, the Wolverines are successful.
Hall in motion. He'll take the ball, find a little running room as he gets it down close to a Wolverine first down. He needed 3 yards for the first, and it all depends on the spot, and I believe he will be shy. And that'll bring up a 4th and about 1 for the first down as Simeon in on the stop for the Planets.
Now, I'm surprised I don't see Joe Roth going in right now, because that's been the key for them so far in those short yardage situations. But they're going to run it with the guys that are in there, and that's the young people. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Roth is in there. Roth did come into the ball game.
Roth will line up in the slot to the far side. Hall and Ionelli in the backfield. Chris Ketterer with the option. He dives forward, comes close to a Wolverine touchdown, and he is in for a Wolverine touchdown. He needed a yard for the first, and I believe Mars thought that they had him stopped at about the 5, Phil, and shy of the first. And Ketterer just made a nice spin, was able to twist his way and dive into the end zone for a Wolverine touchdown, so that carries 6 yards, and that's Chris Ketterer's 2nd TD of the day.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb right now, Jeff, because I really think that might have been a broken play. As Ketterer turned around, it looked as though he wanted to hand it off to Joe Roth, and there was no Roth to be found there, and he had to take it himself, and thank goodness everybody had collapsed on Roth, and it opened up for Ketterer going outside.
Snap is high, and Reese's kick this time is no good, but I believe we have a flag in the play.
That was offside on a defense, and I didn't see any indication from the referee, so it might have occurred prior to the snap of the ball, which means you don't have an option. You have to take the penalty, whether the kick was good or not, and they'll mark it off to the 1-yard line, so the Wolverines now have a choice of kicking it or going for 2, and I wouldn't be surprised that they'll just try to kick it once again.
Score is 35-0. 4.5 minutes remaining in this ball game this afternoon. Wolverines going for their 3rd win, 3rd shutout of the season, and their 2nd win in MAC AA play. Again, Reese, this time won't get the kickoff as Ketterer had a bad snap, tried to handle it, and Sean had already taken his steps, Bill, to boot it away, and just had to snub at the ball, and it just trickles away incomplete as that ball's no good.
That's too bad, because in professional football they could have declined that penalty. The first kick that Sean had was a good one. It went through the uprights, and in professional football an offside penalty could be declined, and you could take the kick. In this case, they said that the contact must have been made. Well, I didn't see any contact. They blew it dead right away, and when they did, it caused another kick. That's turned out to be the downfall. The snaps haven't been real good, and I'm sure that Coach Rankin's going to have to work on that this week, and they're also going to have to work on getting a kicker in there against New Brighton for next Friday night.
That's right, because when you get into a close ball game, those every point you get is needed desperately. Kick again by Morgan. This will be short. Taken by Brown as he bobbles it, picks it up on a 35 and gets it out to about the 40, or rather, the 31-yard line. Took it on his 25 and took it out to the 31-yard line. Well, here he will have a first down and 10 for the Planets. Robbie Gatto came downfield to make that tackle for the Wolverines.
A lot of new faces on the Wolverine defense. I see Jim Scaldone out there, Jeff Lindner, number 71 up front, Steve Sheeler. Steve's usually a starter. He's up there on the defensive line. Robbie Gatto also up on the defensive line inside.
Hanlon wide to the near side. We'll have motion for too much time against motion. Okay, against Lamar's Planets. That'll back them up 5, give them a first and 15 from their own 26-yard line.
Just about 4 minutes left here in the ball game, and once again, Jeff, we're running into long ball games. In this case, it was a dedication of a field, and it was a long halftime show, and also an injured player that took about 15 minutes. 4 minutes and counting left here in the fourth quarter of the ball game. 35-0. Ellwood City with a lead.
Hamlin wide to the near side. Brown in the slot. Straight drop back. Goes to his receiver, and he was sandwiched. They get to the back.
36,
Out of the backfield is Zett to carry the ball. Mark Jones coming up to apply the hit. And that pass falls incomplete in the flats here to the near side. Second down and 5 for the first.
On that play, both receivers for the Mars Planets took off deep down the right side, and they sent their halfback out of the backfield who came up in a flat area. And Jones was ready for it. The pass could have been caught, but had he caught the ball, he would have been hit very hard by Mark Jones anyway.
Webb out wide to the near side. Backs are split. Motion Santum to the near side. Try to set up the screen, and it is set up to the near side of the field as they get it out to the 35. Will be shy of the first down. As Jones again came up with a stop. As Reynolds carried the ball on that screen, and Wolverines were able to break through the original blockers and bring down Reynolds after a pickup of about 7 on the play. So that'll make it third down and 7 with the ball resting on the 36-yard line of the Mars Planets.
That was one of the 2 plays that Coach Rankin had feared. One play was the rollout on the part of Reesmeyer to contain him. The other one was a screen pass. That's the first screen, though, that we've seen of the afternoon from the Planets.
Reesmeyer, again, rolls out to the left side, sets up, has a man open. Brown downfield, almost picked off by the Wolverines, and I believe that was
87.
Portugal that almost got a hand on it, but I will have to see. No, that was almost Scaldone who was able to pick that off.
We also have a holding penalty on the blocking backfield for the Mars Planets, whether the Wolverines will take it or not. I see Coach Rankin waving, saying, let's decline that penalty because the pass was incomplete. Had Scaldone stayed in his position, the pass would have come right to him, but instead he went over toward the receiver, and as he did so, the pass ended up behind Jimmy Scaldone himself. Now, we're going to have 2 new punt returners. John DeLuca, who has been back there before, experienced, and Jimmy Scaldone will go back to join him to return the punt.
Reesmeyer to kick it away from his 20-yard line, the Planet's 20-yard line. Reesmeyer gets off a decent kick this time. It'll be taken by DeLuca on the Wolverine 31-yard line. Looking for running room. Won't find the wall this time as he's taken down after a pickup of about 2 yards on the 34 of the Wolverines, where they have a first down and 10, and just under 3 minutes remaining to work with. They are on top 35-0.
And we'll see what happens now if the Wolverines can mount a drive with an entirely new offensive unit in there, and I'll try to pick them up one at a time. Everybody on the offensive unit now is new from the starting unit. There are no starters returning in the offensive team right now. 35-0, the Wolverines with the lead.
That's a punt for Reesmeyer carrying 30 yards.
Gain possession of the ball.
Wolverines send out Greg Barbario wide to the near side. Timeout has been called by the Planets. 2:45 remaining in the ball game. Wolverines on top, 35-0. Now this message. I'm Jeff Hazen along with Phil Weimer on Classic Gold 92. Ellwood City Wolverines football, and the Wolverines leading at 35-0 over the Mars Planets. Will pick up win number 3, their second win in MAC-AA play for this young 1986 season. They go straight ahead handoff to Ionelli. Quarterback, by the way, in the game now is David James. James is a sophomore.
Second down and 9.
6 foot, 145. Gain of 1 for Ionelli. Reesmeyer in on the stop for the Planets.
35-yard line.
Pick up a 1 for Ionelli. Well, resting on the Wolverine 35. James sets him down. Backs are split. And looking for running room is the Wolverines' Andy Beatrice. He'll find no room and gets back close to the original line of scrimmage. Give him a loss of 1. Third down and a long 9 to go for the Wolverines first as Del Becker came up to make the stop for the Mars Planets. Under 2 minutes now remaining in this ball game this afternoon.
In the lineup, we have Greg Barbario along with James in the backfield and Andy Beatrice. Bill Caputo's up at center, and Kurt Augustinelli, Robbie Gatto, Dave Main, Jeff Lindner. They're all up there on the offensive line for the Wolverines now.
Keeper by James, looking to get to the outside, gets to the 30, down to about to the 34-yard line, so he'll pick up a couple of yards in the play as he gets it out close to the 35 of the Wolverines. That'll bring up a 4th and long situation. Ron Frank with a stop for the Mars Planets, and the Wolverines will be forced to punt it away for their first time this afternoon. They lead it 35-0, and just about a minute remaining in this ball game as the Planets will get one more hand at trying to get something on that scoreboard, but not much time to work with.
This will be the first punt in 2 ball games for the Ellwood Wolverines, and we're inside a minute left in a ball game before they've had the punt.
Sophomore Tom Morgan to punt it away, standing on his 20-yard line. Gets off a long kick, but wobbly, taken by Brown. Fumbles it on his own 30, picks it up to the 35, the 40. The 45, midfield, has some running room and had the wall set up, but Wolverines were able to make the stop on the play as Brown gets a nice return for the Mars Planets down into Wolverine territory on their 39-yard line where they have a first down and 10. Clock is stopped with 41 seconds in the ball game.
Ryan Spielvogel was downfield quickly. Not the junior, he was up there, but Brian only stands 5'6", 130 pounds, and he was up against about a 6'3", 220, about a 200-pound Brown, and Spielvogel could have very easily sacked him for a long, long loss.
30-yard punt by Morgan, 24-yard return by Brown. Reesmeyer goes as his receiver down at the Wolverine 19-yard line, and that hookup from Reesmeyer to his running back Santa, who came in motion, is good for a first down for the Mars Planets. So they want to get on that scoreboard with 35 seconds remaining in the ball game. Wolverines lead it, by the way, 35-0.
And it's a matter of pride right now for the group of Wolverines that are out there on the field. And I know that with the timeout that the Planets have called, Coach Rankin is going out to the field, and he's telling them, if you look at the clock, fellas, there's 35 seconds out there. We've got all, if you can hold them for 35 seconds, we're going to hold our scoreless record intact. It's going to be up to you.
That pass from Reesmeyer to Sandham carrying 21 yards. There's an official timeout on the field. Score 35-0, Ellwood over Mars. Now this message.
N.A. Laszlo Heating and Air Conditioning, 206 Portersville Road in Ellwood City, PA.
Back to live action, and we'll have an interference call thrown against the Wolverines. Reesmeyer went back to pass, throws left, looks right, had his receiver wide out, Hamlin open on the Wolverine 5-yard line. Pass was thrown. It was a duck. And Hamlin made a diving grasp for it. He had his legs taken out from under him as the pass went off his hands in the end zone. And called for the interference with Brian Spielvogel, the defensive cornerback.
Yeah, that's too bad because I don't know whether the pass would have been completed or not, but Brian Spielvogel took the legs right out underneath the receiver. That's not a spot of the ball. That's a regular 10, 15-yard penalty. So the Planets will get the ball first down on the 10-yard line, but that pass probably would have fallen incomplete.
First and goal, and the Mars Planets just want a timeout. Riesmeyer looks over the defense of the Wolverines, doesn't like what he sees. 35-0 Wolverines lead it. Mars, though, threatening with 29 seconds remaining in the ballgame, and they want to get some type of score on the board. They have a first and goal from the 9. Now this message. First and goal from the Wolverine 9-yard line. Wolverines lead it, though, 35-0. 28 seconds left in the game. Almost sacked in the backfield. Riesmeyer takes out of the pocket, throws in the end zone. It's incomplete. Had two receivers in the end zone, but two Wolverine defensive backs were in the area. So that pass from Riesmeyer to his intended receiver falls incomplete, bringing up the second and goal from the 9.
Had Evan Westland, who was in there, had Evan Westland been able to sack Riesmeyer behind the line, that would have kept the clock running too, and probably could have even run out the clock. But the incomplete pass will stop the clock now with 22 seconds left.
Hand one out wide to the near side. Quick drop, throws in the end zone. Oh, that pass is tipped by a Wolverine linebacker. Coming up with a tip play was Evan Westland. That linebacker, the man who almost sacked Riesmeyer, the play just before that. And intended receiver was Sandham, and he almost made a diving catch on about the 1.
That could have gone either way, Jeff. Westland had a chance for it, and he's hitting himself on the helmet right now because it went right through his hands. But once it did, it also went right down onto the ground toward the receiver. So Evan could have really stymied that drive with an interception there, and the Wolverines would have gone home a lot happier. Even though 35-0 is a comfortable win, 35-6 might depress them a little bit.
We have a flag.
Too much time.
On the play.
That's called against the Mars Planets, and that's not what they want. That'll back them up 5. That'll give them a third and goal from the Wolverine 14-yard line now. So a little breathing room for the Wolverines as they have 19 seconds on that clock. No threat, by the way, if you're just joining us, to the Wolverines win. They lead at 35-0. But Mars going for a pride score at this point in time. Third and goal from the 14, Riesmeyer. Drop back, throws, passes picked off by the Wolverines. And field goal for Beatrice coming down with that. Neither one is Scaldone. And he intercepted in the end zone. It was tipped off a receiver Sandham's hand. Goes into the chest of Scaldone. He cradles the ball and gets it out to the Wolverine 5-yard line. And they have possession and 11 seconds on the clock remaining in the game. So, still barring all disasters, Wolverines will come up with their third shutout of the season.
Right, and Jimmy Scaldone was going to go home very proud about that one because he intercepted that ball 1 yard into the end zone and was able to run it out. And it didn't make any difference at that point. From the time it went into his hands, he became the hero for the second-team defensive squad.
That's the end of the ball game. The score is 35-0. Wolverines 3 shutouts in as many ball games played in this early season. They jumped to 2-0 in MAC AA play. Mars goes to 0-2 in MAC AA play. 1-2 overall. Wolverines 3-0 overall. Phil and I will be back to recap this afternoon's action right after this message.